Well, welcome to another of our words of encouragement. Well, we could all do with a bit of good news, couldn't we? Life is pretty tough at this time. I don't know if you watch the news avidly, trying to see if there's a big change in circumstances, watching it expectantly, hoping that we see less infections, less death, more resources to care, some more hope in terms of what might be a vaccine or an elimination of the virus in some way. We long to see a change of circumstances. How life has changed, what seems so dramatically in such a short space of time. In just a few weeks, we have a new normal, that our normal patterns of living have completely been turned upside down. And we just hope it won't remain like this for too long. You know, some things can happen in life that can seem startling and life-affecting, that mess up our lives, that shatter our sense of peace, of joy, of normality, our sense of what the future may be like. You know, we're to remember an event 2,000 years ago that seemed to shatter any sense of hope for the followers of Jesus. As Jesus breathes his last on the cross, for Jesus' friends and followers, it seemed like life at that point utterly changed for the worst. If Jesus was gone, what else was there? Hope was over. But would I know that that death was not the final word? Jesus told them that he would come back from the dead, that he would rise again bodily. The Old Testament had predicted this. They should have known. And then they find out, and they find their lives are changed. Let me read to you these words from Mark chapter 16. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so they might go to anoint Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb, and they asked each other, Who will roll the stone away from the entrance of the tomb? When they looked up, they saw the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. Don't be alarmed, he said. You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He's risen. He's not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter, he's going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you. Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. They were processing this extraordinary news. Initially troubled and scared, life was different again. But can it be? This is bewildering and confusing. It's not bad news. Seemingly strange news, but good news. And when we read the other Gospels and other parts of the Bible, we see what happens. The followers of Jesus realize he is alive. They meet with him, and everything is wonderfully transformed. From shattered, grieving, despairing, hopeless people, they're triumphant with hope because they know that love has won. Life wins. Jesus is alive. But look what the angel says to these women. But go tell his disciples and Peter. But go tell his disciples and Peter. The angel singles out Peter. Why not just say, go and tell his disciples? After all, Peter was one of them. Last we hear of Peter, he's a man who's denied knowing Jesus. He's a broken man, despairing and distraught, sobbing at denying his friend and Lord. It's like the angel is saying to these women, make sure Peter knows. He really needs to know this. He needs to know that life goes on, that Jesus is alive. Peter needed to know that. And so do I. So do you. That Jesus is alive. Death is not the final word. And the worst that life can offer will not have the final say. So the Easter day hope is to be a hope for all. We are to be an Easter people. Go tell his disciples and Peter. Put your own name there. Go tell his disciples, and I hope you know this. Really know this, that Jesus is alive. And then put someone else's name there. A family member, a friend, a neighbour, a work colleague, whoever. Pray for them and tell them he is alive. There is the best news. That is the hope for the world, the hope for this life and for the next. And so my prayer is that we will be a people, even in the difficulties of life, even in how strange and difficult life is at this present time, a people of joy and a people of confidence and a people of hope, because he is risen. Jesus is alive. And because of that truth, we know there is hope. Amen.